What's going on, Sapiens? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Arham and I'm a medical student at the University of Oslo in Norway. As we all know, 2020 has really been a roller coaster ride for everybody out there. So in this video, I will be sharing 5 lessons that this year has taught me. When I talk about the things that I have learned, I am pointing towards the things that I have firstly learned and secondly managed to practically implement in my own life as well. And since time is the most precious thing in the world, you will find the timestamps in the description box below so you guys can skip through and watch exactly the parts that you want to watch. Now let's dive straight into the video. Fear comes in different forms, and the one I am specifically talking about in this video is the fear of social media or putting yourself out there. I was a ghost on social media. I wasn't really active. I mean, I would post maybe once or twice on Instagram every 2 to 3 months. When the idea of having a YouTube channel first struck me, the fear of putting myself out there was really the biggest barrier between having the thought and practically executing that very thought. Questions like, am I really qualified for this? Or what are people going to say about me? Are they going to think that I'm a twat or an imposter? Would really increase the friction. Now it's very natural to have these negative thoughts for somebody who's looking to start something on social media, be it a blog or a YouTube channel. But what really made me change my mind was this book by Austin Kleon, Show Your Work, and this changed the game for me completely. He talks about how being an amateur is really an advantage and not a disadvantage, because that gives you more room for exploration and more room for experimentation compared to somebody who's already a pro and has a fan base, right? Because then people have these expectations from him and he has already set this level which he has to maintain. So experimentation or exploring new ideas and new creative things is sort of hard for them compared to an amateur. Also, you don't have to be a genius to start something of your own. I mean, if there's even one thing that you know that might be helpful to somebody out there, then that is absolutely worthy of sharing or putting on social media. I also did this coffee challenge on my Instagram where the idea was to go to a random coffee place and ask for a 10% discount. Now obviously 99% of the time you do get rejected, but that is the entire point, embracing the fear that lies outside of your comfort zone. So the mindset that I've developed now is that if there's anything that appears super hard or challenging, then that is the biggest reason to actually go for it, because things appear far worse in our heads than they actually are once we try them out. Now, one major habit that I developed this year was the habit of reading books. And I'm not talking about medical textbooks, but I'm talking about reading books in your free time. Reading books on self-help and self-development is obviously a great way of expanding your horizons and, broadening your mindset. But never underestimate the power of fiction. When you are reading non-fiction or books on self-help and self-development, you are simply absorbing the information that is being told. Whereas when you are reading fiction, you are also exercising this entire creativity muscle or cognitive function in your brain, where you are creating this visual film in your brain of the story that is being told. Now, I won't go into much details about this right now, but the point is, read books, be it fiction or non-fiction. Now, the best investment that I've made this year was the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite, as it reduces the friction by making books much more accessible. You don't have to carry any physical copies with you if you're traveling, for example, or you don't have to make the time to go to a bookstore and buy a book, etc. So if there is one gadget that I recommend to everybody out there, then it has to be Kindle Paperwhite. Minor changes, major results. I came across this notion in Atomic Habits by James Clear, where he talks about how making the slightest of changes to our routines or to our habits end up yielding tremendous results over time. Oftentimes, we have this perception that massive success requires massive effort or massive action as well. This could be anything from starting a business to getting into medicine, or even something like losing weight. This, however, is completely false, because the book mentions the compounding principle, which really resonates with me. Just as atoms are the fundamental units of every other larger system, small tweaks and minor changes can really give us huge rewards over time. If we can make ourselves better and improve by 1%, just 1% every single day, then by the end of the year, we have actually improved ourselves 37 times. And the opposite is also true. I mean, if we get worse by 1% every day, then we soon decline all the way to 0. The 2-minute rule has been the single most effective strategy for me when it comes to battling procrastination. Now, I don't remember which book introduced me to this term, but it has been absolutely revolutionary for me. The 2-minute rule has basically two sides to it. So every time you feel like putting something off or delaying something to later, just take a couple of seconds to reflect on whether that task is going to take less than 2 minutes or not. If the answer is less than 2 minutes, then you simply get your lazy bum up immediately and get that task done. And this serves as a great yardstick to remove all the tasks which occupy that unnecessary space in our brains and make more room for those bigger tasks, bigger and more important tasks which need to be focused on. Also, it gives us the right momentum to pounce on all those bigger and more energy consuming tasks. The second aspect to the 2-minute rule is to chop up bigger tasks into smaller ones, which can be then completed under 2 minutes, because oftentimes the reason why we procrastinate is because we don't know where to start. For example, if I was to say to myself that, okay, today I'm going to revise chemistry, I mean, what the heck does that mean? There's no clarity to that, right? So instead, I could say to myself that, okay, today I'm going to revise redox reactions from chemistry. Now, I've chopped up this bigger task of revising chemistry into this smaller one, and that brings so much more clarity to the task and makes it much more easier to carry out as well. Pareto's law, also known as the 80-20 principle, states that 80% of the results come from 20% of the input. So what we need to do is that we need to identify that 20% and really focus on that to achieve maximum results. And the way I applied this to medical school was that I stopped taking notes in the third year of med school, or this year. So all I did was to make questions from every topic, and then I would frequently revisit those questions. And this saved me tons of time and also allowed me to sort of focus on developing and diversifying my personality in other aspects of life. This is because when we expand and diversify our personalities, we become anti-fragile, as we do not completely depend on one single aspect of our lives or one single aspect of our personalities. So I don't want to be recognized as just a doctor. I want to be known as a doctor, a YouTuber, and a calisthenics athlete. That is all for today, Sapiens. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video useful, then you might also enjoy watching some videos from this custom playlist which I have made for you guys. If you haven't subscribed already, then please consider doing so. Until next time, take care. Peace.